Welcome to Grade 2 Theory, Lesson 1. While we're working through these theory lessons, it's a really good idea for you to have open the worksheets with a lead pencil so that you can work through the answers as we go, and also have your cheat sheets or concept sheets open so that you can look up the concepts as we find them, and I will give you the reference numbers for which pages to work on. So we're going to start with time signatures. Time signature is at the beginning of every single piece that you will play, and it gives you two numbers that are not fractions. They are just one number on top of the other. The top number is the number of beats in each bar, and the bottom number is the type of beat, or how long each beat is going to be and what note will represent it. So the most common one that you guys are used to looking at is 2, 4, 3, 4 or 4, 4 time. And you understand what the top number tells you, but what about the bottom one? So the bottom one tells you that a crotchet or a quarter note is worth 1 count. If there's an 8 on the bottom, it means that a quaver is going to be worth 1 count. So if we've got a 4 on the bottom, it's called simple time because beats can be divided into 2. If there are 2 of them in each bar, then we're in simple duple time because there are 2 crotchets in each group, and in each bar I should say, and quavers within each of those are divided into 2. If there are 3 crotchets, then we're in 3/4 time or simple triple time. Simple because it's crotchet beats, triple because there are 3 of them. For each of those beats, they can be divided in half. And so quavers again are in groups of 2. The most common one that we use, and you'll see all the time, is this one here, and it's called common time, also known as 4/4 time. In other words, there are 4 crotchet beats in each bar. The only other exception is when you will see a triplet. A triplet is when we have 3 notes played in the same time that we normally have 2. In other words, a triplet of quavers is the same length of time as 2 quavers, which means 1 beat. So here are some examples of some 1-bar patterns in simple time. You'll see that you can very, very clearly see each of the beats, which brings us to our first lot of questions. So the idea is to read the question very, very, very carefully. Complete each of these bars with either crotchets or quavers. So the time signature here is common time, which tells us we're in 4/4 time. So what we do is we work out how many of the 4 beats are already there and then add what is missing. So a crotchet is worth 1 count, plus 1, plus 1. We've got 3 in this bar, which means we need just 1 more. In the next bar, we've got 2 quavers, which is a half plus a half, which equals 1. So that means that we now want 3 beats. Now this is where it can get a little bit tricky. You can use a group of 2, or you can use a group of 4, but you cannot put the group of 4 in the middle because we need to be able to divide this bar into half. So the best answer is a combination of quavers and an extra crotchet or 2 to add up to 4. In the next bar we only have 3 counts, so we can either use a group of quavers, 2 of them, or we can use 1 crotchet. It doesn't really matter. And in the final bar, out of the 4 beats, we have 2 beats. So this is a good opportunity to use our group of 4. Which brings us to what our answer would look like. So you can clearly see that we can see each beat divided but also we can see each bar is divided equally in half. So now we need to finish using crotchets and quavers again, but this time we're in 2/4 time. The triplet tells us that we have 3 notes where we normally have 2. So these, when we have 2 of them together, then that's worth 1 count of the 2 that we need. So we need to add 1 more count. In the next bar, we have 1 count. So we can add either 2 quavers or you can put 1 crotchet in. In the next bar, we have 1 count and half of the second count. So we need to complete that and make it a whole count. Which brings us to the last bar, and we can either use a crotchet or 2 quavers. It really doesn't matter at this point in time. And there's our answer. So your homework is to continue with question 6C. And if you get stuck, please email me or text me or give me a call so I can help you. More importantly, check your answer sheet once you've done it, and you should be able to work out where it went a bit odd. So let's talk about compound time. Simple time was where we could divide quavers in groups of 2. Now we're dividing them in groups of 3. So the compound part of it means that we're not going to be counting, like we were before, 2 beats or 4 beats of crotchets. What we're going to be counting this time is groups of quavers. So what that means is each beat can be divided into 3. Our quavers are in groups of 3, and it gives a different feel. In 6/8 time, that means that there would be 6 quavers in each bar. But because it's so difficult to be counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's a lot easier to count how many groups we have. So what we would do is count 1, 2, 1 ender, 2 ender, 1 ender, 2 ender, where each of those beats is divided into 3. In compound time, a duplet is when we have 2 notes, normally in the same amount of time as we would have 3. So these 3 quavers are worth 1 count each, which means together they are worth 3 counts. In a duplet, this duplet matches these dudes, so it is also worth 3 counts. Which brings us to our patterns in compound time. Can you see how we've got 2 complete groups where you can see the 3 in each of them? So we've got 1, 2, 3 in this group here, 1 quaver, and 2 semiquavers, which is worth 1 quaver. So a group of 3 and a group of 3. So your job for homework is to complete question 6D with crotchets or quavers. So think in terms of groups of 3. If I go back and grab one of these for you, and I'll show you how to lay it out. So what that means is we're going to have a group of 3 here and a group of 3 here, 1 in each bar. In this first part here, I've got 1, 2, 3 quavers in the equivalent of the dotted quaver there. So that means I don't need to do anything else. In this second note, this one is worth the equivalent of those 2 there. So I need to grab a quaver and pop that in here to complete the bar. Does that make sense? I'm going to give you 1 minute to work out how to answer it. Please complete this answer, and then I'll open up the next slide and show you what it looks like. You have 1 more minute. And your time is up. Here's what your answer should look like. We've got a group of 3 here and a second group of 3 here. First group of 3, second group of 3. First group of 3, second group of 3. First group of 3, second group of 3. How did you go? Well, your homework is to complete lesson 1. There are questions 1 to 5 and 7 to 8, and the parts that you didn't finish in question 6. When you've worked your way through them, open up the answer sheets which are in your Dropbox and mark yourself. If you find that you don't understand what you did, watch this video again or email me and I will give you a call and help you through it and explain it all again. In the meantime, have a great week and I'll see you next lesson for lesson 2. Bye.